And welcome back to Washington Commanders Insider. Today, we're talking about three roster moves that the Washington Commanders have done ahead of this game against the Dallas Cowboys. And so let's start, I think, with the most surprising move, and that is that Chris Rodriguez has been released from the Washington Commanders. He was the second-year running back out of Kentucky by Ron Rivera. He had 52 yards and 11 carries against the New York Giants 3 weeks ago. And so with Chris Rodriguez Jr., actually. And so he's released. And I think that that is interesting because Chris Rodriguez Jr. is a running back that I have really liked his game this year. I've liked his physicality. I feel like he's a player that I've been wanting to see the last couple weeks because of that. And that this is interesting that the Washington Commanders released him. Now I know that we're getting ready to talk about why they did it, but I just think that with his fit, just the way that he's been running the football, just some of the things that he's done in the preseason, and then also too showing you in his opportunity against the New York Giants that he should absolutely be out there. Like I think that running backs are really a premium on this team, especially with just the way the Washington Commanders really like to set up their offense. It is an offense that is geared towards running the football. And I talked about this just a show ago that when the Washington Commanders win the time of possession, then they generally win the game. If they don't win the time of possession, they're 1-4. All right, and that was talked about on Locked On Commanders. And so part of winning the time of possession means that you're running the football, means that you're pounding on that other defense. It means that you're throwing multiple running backs out there, and I think that this could maybe be huge because look, Brian Robinson Jr. He's played well, but he's also been injured with a hamstring. He's also been injured with the knee, and so look, we need Chris Rodriguez Jr. I think out there, and so I think that this is a tough little loss right now. Look, he had some good games. I've talked about this before, the physicality. He was averaging, I think, 4.3 yards per carry. And so it's unfortunate that the Washington Commanders had to let him go. But the second year running back, he was picked in round 6 in 2023, pick 193 by the Washington Commanders. Looks like that he is set to be released by the Washington Commanders. And so next up, the next move here is that we have Javonte Jean-Baptiste. He is coming up from the injured list. And so this is exactly why that they went ahead and released Chris Rodriguez to bring him up. And so we're talking about a defensive end here. And I think that, yes, we do need, more defense. Obviously, I've talked about just how well this defense has gotten really over the last couple of weeks. I think that they've heated up. Yes, you do want another defensive end out there with Dorrance Armstrong. Yes, I think that this young man can definitely impact this team, but it's tough because now you're talking about taking away a main piece of your offense. And so, hopefully he is going to be an impact here, but I totally understand when you have to make these type of roster moves to bring a player up. But yeah, to release Chris Rodriguez Jr., that's tough there. And so next up, I think the last key injury update for at least the Washington Commanders is that now we have Austin Cyber. Looks like that he is off the injured list. We went ahead, we let go of Zane Gonzalez now. And so I like this because Austin Cyber has been very solid for this team. I think ever since week 2, when we went ahead and I guess picked him up after that Buccaneers game, we've been solid. And not to say that Zane Gonzalez has not been solid, but Austin Cyber has absolutely shown that he is the kicker for the Washington Commanders here. And so hopefully, he's back. There's nothing wrong, and he's able to get back to what he was doing because I think he was doing a great job for the Washington Commanders. And definitely, I feel like, the Commanders are confident now, knowing that if they can get into field goal range, then this player is going to be able to put up 3 points. And so I feel like that added confidence to the offense is a good thing for the Washington Commanders here. And so hopefully we get a chance to see that on display against the Dallas Cowboys. And so lastly, looking at the Dallas Cowboys, some of their injury updates. Look, they've announced that Brandon Cooks, Trayvon Diggs and Zach Martin won't be playing against the Commanders. And that is huge because Brandon Cooks, look, he has the ability to really stretch the field. I know that, he's not the same type of player that he used to be. But Brandon Cooks definitely could be a player that would test our secondary. And so I think that this is huge for the Commanders that he is out. With Trayvon Diggs, look, he's one of the best cornerbacks out there when he's healthy. Him not being out there, you'd have to think that that is going to give an advantage now to the Luke McCaffrey. It's going to give an advantage out there to Noah Brown, um, to Terry McLaurin. Like, we should be able to really go down the football field. I think that that is going to really unlock that. And hopefully we see a little bit more of this on Sunday with the passing game, because I think that Jaden Daniels and this offense, they really need to have a big day to kind of get out of, I think, the rut that they've been in. And so hopefully this is big news for the wide receiving core. We talked about them possibly changing up the offense, shifting Terry McLaurin around in the formations and things like that. I think that this is the game that Cliff Kingsbury is going to do that. I think that this is where he goes ahead and he shifts around the line, or shifts not the line, but shifts around Terry McLaurin. He shifts around some things like that. You experiment maybe a little bit there from the wide receiver standpoint, but you don't get away from just the identity of the team. And so next up, Zach Martin being out for the Dallas Cowboys is huge for the running game. I've talked about this, that really the Dallas Cowboys, they're struggling this year on offense. And so one of the things that the Dallas Cowboys have always been able to do is run the football, and Zach Martin has been a huge part of that. And so without Zach Martin, I would expect to see this defense have a get right game. I just talked about the offense having a get right game against a depleted defense. I want to see now this defense have a get right game, because you don't have the same type of offensive line that you've had before in the past with this Dallas Cowboys team. And you've been getting gashed on the ground. Like, I mean, look at that Saquon Barkley game. They were able to take advantage of us. Najee Harris and those guys from Pittsburgh, they were able to take advantage of us on the ground as well. And so this is the time where the Washington Commanders can go out there and hopefully build some momentum by stopping this run. And I think now with these injuries and these roster updates, it really shows me that the Washington Commanders have an advantage. I'm hoping that they don't play down to the competition against the Dallas Cowboys. And so that's my thing here. So anyway, let me know in the comments, what is your biggest takeaway from this news? Is it the fact that, yes, the Washington Commanders are letting go of a running back with, and that's, it comes with a team that really relies a lot on the running game? Or is it, hey, now that you see the roster issues with the Dallas Cowboys, that is the bigger story going into this game? So I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. This is Washington Commanders Insider. We'll be talking about the game day preview on the next one, and then we'll be doing a post game to that. So once again, I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Rico, and this is Washington Commanders Insider. Peace.